Hey y'all, this is Systemshark bringing to you guys another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. Anyway guys, it's been a little while since my last audio, but I wanted to play a little bit of catch up and try to do something a little bit different this time. I've been reading the forums a lot lately, and I've been, talking to a few of the members and reading my staff profile and doing some other stuff. So it seems that most of you guys have come to the consensus that I am a better orc and maybe human audio commentator as opposed to the other races. And I have done undead and night elf commentaries in the past. However, I tend to agree with you. I'm an orc player by trade, so I know most about the orc race. I've been playing human more recently, so I'm kind of excited about them, and I'm learning more about them as I play. And although I've never actually played undead as like any form of static play, I do know a good bit about them because a lot of my friends play undead, and the people I do team games with play undead, and they're one of my favorite races. So this audio, which you should be getting the replay synced up file, getting the replay file synced up at the 1 minute and 32 second mark. Get the file synced up there, and then we'll get it unpaused here in a little bit. This is from the semifinals of the Blizzard Worldwide Invitational, and was originally posted late in May, so it's a pretty recent game, but you guys might have seen it, might not have. If not, this is a really great game, so you're going to love watching the replay. But I did just want to let you guys know where it came from. I believe Papa Smurf was the one who posted it here at WC Replay, so thanks for that. It's already been on the top replay website, so it's a kind of an older replay, but still. Alright, you guys should have enough time to get synced up there. If not, pause this audio portion of the audio commentary, get the replay file synced up at the 1 minute and 32 second mark, and we're going to get it unpaused here in a little while. Let me make sure my in-game sounds are off. They aren't now. And we're going to get it unpaused here in just one more second. The last thing I wanted to note about my audio commentaries is the last few ones, I guess I've been having a little bit of trouble with my microphone. I am trying a new microphone setting here, but my microphone is a really good quality microphone, so I don't think I need a new one. I just think that the settings and somehow the configuration I got going on, it might not be working for you. If you're still getting some kind of static or some background buzz or something that might be interfering with the audio itself, try playing with your in-game sounds just barely on or a little bit above. It'll overlap kind of what that sound is, but I have the recording set to where my voice should still be loud enough and coming through at least one of the channels on your speakers to where you should be able to hear me over the audio commentary a little bit. So if not, I'm going to probably just start doing my audio commentaries with the in-game sounds on to kind of mask that sound up, because I don't feel like getting a new mic anytime soon. So okay, 1 minute 32 second mark, 1x speed. I'm going to be on Fob's point of view. You can put it on the Observer or anyone else you want, and Fog of War on or off, it's really your choice. I'd probably leave it off because I like to kind of jump back and forth between the two races. Okay, we're going to unpause here. 5 seconds, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, the first few things you guys want to notice, and this is something that I point out in a lot of my audio commentary, is scouting. Scouting is very, very important. Now, what can you learn by scouting, and what can you learn from your experience by knowing when your opponent, sends his scout out? So the first thing you want to see is that Fob is sending one of his ghouls out to the north position. He's immediately going to find out with that ghoul that actually, he didn't go all the way. And the reason he didn't go all the way, sorry, I did watch this earlier. I thought he went all the way to that creep camp, is that he saw the peasant coming from the southern position that he saw with his other ghoul. Now, just to make sure of that, I believe he does end up sending his ghoul all the way to that gold mine just to make sure that Sky isn't there, and indeed he finds out that he isn't there. So he realizes that Sky is cross-map on this map. So immediately, as soon as his death knight comes out, he had timed it so his Tome of Relics finished just as his hero comes out, and he picks up a Rod of Necromancy. Very, very standard things to do as an undead player. Meanwhile, Sky's using one of those peasants to build a scout farm there on the left. It's kind of a weird place for it, but it's as good a place as any in this matchup. So the first thing you're going to notice that Fob is doing is running right over there to that Goblin Merchant, or Goblin Laboratory. And the reason being for that is it's very predictable for human players, almost of any level, but especially on this level, for them to fast creep that. And generally when they fast creep that, at least one or two of their peasants are going to be relatively low hit points, and you can come in there and finish it off with a coil. And then with the skeleton that the peasant corpse makes, you can summon a Rod of Necromancy, or if you can find a to ambient creep on the way, you can kill that and use the corpse to make those skeletons. You notice that Fav did a really good job here. He's able to use his skeletons and his coils, and so far he's picked off 2 militia. I believe he ends up getting 3 peasants by the end of this little harass. And, you know, he loses 2 summoned skeleton warriors, which really doesn't give the Archmage that much more experience than he already gained from, you know, creeping out the Goblin lab that fast. You also notice this guy's putting a scout farm near that Goblin laboratory. If you ever want to have access to a Goblin laboratory without actually being there with one of your units, it's a good idea to put that scout farm there so you can access it for reveals if maybe he's going to be using Fiends and using Burrow, or if you just want to scout out your opponent's locations. Also, you can buy units and stuff from there. Obviously, we're going to see Sky later on using the Goblin Shredder and purchasing it with that farm being right there at the Goblin Laboratory, and also some Zeppelin stuff later on too. So the whole idea of this harassment is to keep your opponent busy and also deal with some multitasking. You notice that Fav was just able to finish creeping off with just his ghouls the orange knoll camp closest to his base. Immediately he's going to run over to the orange camp on the opposite side of those knolls and furthest away from Sky's base, just to finish creeping this off. And all this harassment and creeping at the same time is going to allow for Fav to get right into level 3 very, very early on the game, which is nice because Sky's been doing a lot of this fast creeping, fast expanding with his militia and with his water elementals. The Archmage is extremely, extremely powerful creeper, and you really just don't want to. He's going to pretty much be able to do it anyway. Almost any level human player can do it. It's relatively easy to do. You bring peasants along with you. You bring your water elementals to help you creep. You just, as an undead player or any other race versus a human, you just don't want to let him creep it freely. And if you take a good bit of damage on your Death Knight like Fav is doing, that's okay, you know? He did a good job of kind of being an annoyance, taking off a few of those. I think he was able to kill off 1 or 2 peasants that time, so he's doing very, very well with that. And Sky's doing a good job of countering it. As a human player, if you want to stop the undead from harassing you, you don't necessarily have to stop your creeping altogether. Just what Sky was doing was taking 2 of his full HP footmen and kind of just having them follow the Death Knight around. That way, if the Death Knight ever turned around to try to bring back an offensive force, he would immediately be hit by the few footmen and take some slow damage over time. Whenever he was in range, he would use his Archmage and maybe some water elementals to actually get that damage done and kill it off there. So that scout farm by Sky actually did just notice that the ghouls were coming from the north there. Now, Sky can insinuate from that either he's going to creep that or he just recently did, and in fact he does send his Archmage out there to scout out Fav, who just recently got he was picking up the items from those 2 creep camps. Generally, if you're going to creep that without your hero there, it's a good idea to bring your hero there as soon as possible, especially in that case where Sky was able to see those ghouls coming from that direction. Sky immediately brought his Archmage there to try to steal that item that was left there. So the focus on undead versus human is basically going to be towers. And I know, again, I said this earlier, that Sky isn't known for using a lot of towers, and this might be not a perfect example of a replay of how effective towers are versus undead, but we are going to see some creative choices to how Fav actually deals with towers later on, even though, again, Sky isn't the tower human player. He isn't like Fire D or aka Tower D, as I recently saw in a forum post, which is pretty funny. And also that Shriek is also commonly known the American human player, also known for using a lot of towers there. So we're going to just see some creative moves here, and I'll go into them as we see them. I want to talk about unit choice just for a quick second, and then we'll go back to those towers. I'm actually going to talk more about those towers in the next 10 minutes here or so. But unit choice for Fav, he is making the switch to gargoyles, and the reasoning being for this, or the reason for this, is it kind of forces the human player to, if he was thinking about it or preemptively going to be making air anyway in the form of gyrocopters to counter destroyers later, those Gargs say, I have to make some form of anti-air, or those Gargs are going to really do a number of my ground units that don't necessarily, or aren't able to hit those air. Now, Gargs aren't necessarily really terribly good versus human, but at this point in the game, the human doesn't really have a lot of anti-air, as these Gargs can help him when he's taking down early towers to stop